Hello, everybody. And of course, welcome back to another episode of XtalknIsh with your boy X. And you already know Ish will be joining us a little bit later on. But in the meantime, between time, let's go ahead and make sure we get these like and shares on Facebook. Let's go ahead and hit that like button on our Facebook page. And you already know what to do. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you can be notified for shows like this one in the future. Ding! Thank you for that, Ish. And as well, if you are on Twitter, go ahead and check us out at XTalkingIsh on Periscope. And as well, go ahead and check us out on my personal page at X_Williams81. I was already able to retweet that. So it is on my personal page. So, like I said, go ahead and check us out on all of those media platforms. And of course, y'all already know why we are here. Week 11 of the NFL season. Just 10 weeks ago. Just 10 weeks ago, we started the NFL season. I told y'all it was going to go by fast, slow. We are a little over now, more than halfway of the season. And it's contender or pretender time now. I mean, it is where I thought we would be in this NFL season. Well, not everybody. No, there's some teams out here slacking. There's some teams out here exceeding expectations. So, with that being said, it is great to be back once again for another week of the NFL. Look at the comments right quick before we talk about the game. Shout out to my boy Fracture Water for tuning in a little bit earlier before we got on the live broadcast. He says, "Let's go! Great day of football and." Football. I'll be watching the World Cup today, though. And of course, if you do know anything about the worldly sports, World Cup starts today. Of course, in Qatar, aka Qatar. If you've actually been to the location, I have plenty of friends that was able to deploy out to Qatar and spoke nothing but highly, good things over there. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things over there I don't want to talk about right now on this show, but if you know, you know. But other than that, World Cup. Fracture, if you're watching this right now, let me know who you got winning this year. Who you think's gonna win it all? I know it ain't gonna be USA, but hey, let me know who you think. And as well, shout out to my boy Travis Crow. He says morning, fellas. He says fellas because he assumed that Ish supposed to be on the show, and he will. He will join us in about another 10, 15 minutes. Again, he just getting back from church and with the family, of course, as always. So. With that being said, I'm going to get into some of the games right quick, just talk about them very briefly. And then, of course, once Ish joins us, we'll recap some of these games. And then we'll, of course, move on with the rest of the games of the Week 11 slate. First game, not a sexy name game. Now, I'll be honest with you. Some of these games on this Sunday slate, the matchups they don't look too great. I'm just being completely honest. They're kind of like, ugh. But like I tell everybody all the time, sometimes when you get these ugly looking matchups, those sometimes become the better games. Wouldn't surprise me at all. This Bears Falcons game go down to the last second field goal, last second drive to win the game for one of these teams. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I am very, 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 very impressed with the way the Chicago Bears have been able to handle this season. Let's just go back 10 weeks ago. A lot of people thought that the Bears were just going to tank or just pack it in for this season and just move along and get ready for next season. Of course, they do upset the 49ers week 1, so that, of course, definitely made people turn their heads and say, well, what's going on with this Bears team? They kind of proved a lot of people right throughout the middle of the season, losing games that they should not have, beating teams that they should not have. And the Bears are where they're at right now as a 3-7 team. Again, not a great record, but the performance that a guy like Justin Fields keep putting on the field, I think it should definitely show the Chicago organization that at least you have something there at that position. I do not want Justin Fields to run the football as much as he's running the football. I've stated that time and time again, not just with Justin Fields, but any running quarterback that's out here in the NFL. I know it's unfair to a guy like Lamar Jackson that always gets criticized for running the ball. And you have guys like Josh Allen and Justin Fields. And I mean, even guys like Kyler Murray, who runs the ball and doesn't get the same type of hate that Lamar Jackson, gets. And I'll be the first to admit that is, I think, entirely true. But for a guy like Justin Fields, I believe that he has the mechanics to be a successful pocket passer quarterback if he's able to get the right offensive coordinator in there to be able to help mold him into that pocket quarterback. I think they're just utilizing his skill set right now to run the ball as much as they possibly can and just get him out of bad situations. Because if they were just letting him sit back there and throw the ball 30, 40 times a game, they would probably lead the league in 3 and outs. They would have nothing but turnovers every game. It would not be good at all. For them to change what they were doing in the beginning part of the season to better, to utilize Justin Fields' skill set, I think, again, that shows a little bit of growth within the coaching staff for them to wake up and say, maybe we need to actually maximize Justin Fields' potential in the run game. And with that being said, I respect Ish's pick for picking the Bears because, again, with this type of team on both sides of the ball, you get Chase Claypool in there. He really hasn't had a breakout game just yet. But like Ish said on shows in the past, look, don't have anybody to throw to at the moment. So you might as well throw 25 targets to Chase Claypool and hopefully come down with about half of them, right? So for me, I have the Falcons winning this game. At one point in time, again, for that team, they look like maybe that they could take the division. But, of course, we have now seen that it's probably not going to pan out that way. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are trying to take a stranglehold of that division and move along with the number one seed in that division. But the Falcons, again, they have an opportunity to close the gap. You win this game, you're 5-7, you're still in the mix. We have 6 games after this week. I mean, we have 6 or 7 games left, depending on your schedule, and the season is not over with just yet at all. So we'll see what happens with these Atlanta Falcons. I think this is a good season for the Atlanta Falcons to build off of and to be able to, again, use this season as a stepping stone for next year. There's a lot of question marks, I think, with the Falcons moving next year, as in, do you utilize Mariota again and have him run this team, or do you go ahead and give the team over to Ritter and have him be the quarterback of the future? A lot of question marks in Atlanta. Also, of course, with Cordell Patterson, do you continue to utilize his skill set as a running back, even though he's a multi-versatile athlete out there on the football field? So, again, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Falcons. Falcons are a 2.5-point favorite coming into this game. I have the Falcons. Ish has the Bears. It's a pick 'em. That's a pick 'em. I look at that game as that line easily could have been an even line and easily could have been a pick 'em, but Falcons are 2.5-point favorite in that game. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Browns and the Bills. Of course, if you haven't heard, this game actually got moved from Buffalo to Detroit due to the crazy thunderstorm, as they called it, in Buffalo that has put up about 2 or 3 feet in Buffalo over the course of just last night. One of the offensive linemen for the Bills put up a video of the snow last night. I want to say it might be around 11, 12 o'clock last night. And he let his garage door go up, and you could see the snow was about 2.5 feet easily. And he was just joking about, you guys want us to play in this? It's not even just so much playing in it. Buffalo Bills fans can't even make it to the stadium to be able to watch the game in the first place. That's how bad the snow is, okay? So the NFL did, honestly, the smartest thing, and that's go ahead and move them to Detroit. And, of course, if you know about what's going on with them moving to Detroit for this game, they will also play the Detroit Lions on Thursday day football for Thanksgiving. They'll play them the Buffalo Bills will play the Detroit Lions in Detroit. So they'll have 2 Detroit-based games. One will be a home game for them. The other one will be a away game for them. So shout out to, of course, the Detroit area for the hospitality for the Buffalo Bills and crew. to be able to stay there for a little bit of an extended time than just the Thursday Thanksgiving game for them. Ish and I are in agreement when it comes to the Bills should take care of the Browns. Ish and I talk about this all the time. When you're a good team, the Chiefs, the Bills, and he right on time. I knew my brother would jump on right on time. I knew it because that's what he do. He missed it right on time. I was just using one of your quotes, sir. When we talk about good teams are supposed to be bad teams, especially once we start getting into later the season. There should be no reason why the Bills should not beat the Browns. The only exception is if they were playing in Buffalo and they were playing in a crazy snowstorm. But they are not. They will be playing in a closed dome facility in Detroit, and it should be no reason why the Bills should not take care of business against the Browns. Might be closer than you think. The Browns actually might cover the spread, but the Bills need to take care of business and go ahead and move on to next week. Ish.
Oh, 100%. You said it. You hit the nail right on the head. Good teams got to beat bad teams, especially at this time of year. It's getting to the point where you can't play around. You can't drop games just out of bad execution or anything like that. Like, you need to be crisp. You need to be ready to go and preparing your team for the playoffs. So, yeah, 100%.
Fresh one that says that gave the Browns a chance with the snow game last in Buffalo, but now it's in Detroit. Bills all the way. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, anytime a weather game is affected, it's going to affect the outcome of a game. It is what it is. Rain, sleet, snow, wind. I mean, it's going to affect the game some way, somehow. I just want to go back right quick to the first game that we talked about, Bears and Falcons. We know that you picked the Bears. I picked the Falcons this game. Another comment I wanted to bring up from Fracture One is because I talked about Patterson being their main running back, and that's something that Atlanta will have to address in the offseason with Patterson and Mariota, and what are they going to do with this team moving forward? Fracture One says Falcons got to find a true running back to help Patterson. I 1,000% agree. I don't think you can rely on Cordell being your main back. It's not that he can't do it. It's just, let's be real, his body frame and body makeup is just not a running back frame. He's an athlete. He's able to play all different types of positions. And who knows? He probably feels like he could play running back 24/7. But in reality, I think that's a position he's going to have to move on from. And if he wants to be like Debo, if he wants to play running or wide receiver and running back, do that. I mean, again, I think there's no problems at all with that Falcons team. That's what they want him to be there for. But moving forward, if the Falcons want to be taken seriously, they have to get them a premier prime running back in there.
Yeah, 100%. I think they do need to. I think he can play running back, and he has shown that he can play running back at a high level. But I do think they also need to get a guy like many of the teams that you see successful right now in the NFL. They've got to get a guy that can be that 1-2 punch with him, that can kind of offer a little bit more. And then from the quarterback standpoint, Mariota's been doing a great job this year. I mean, he's been doing what he needs to do. He's been keeping them in games. He's been, I would say he's not hurting them, right? Like, he's not the reason why they're losing. So that's a big thing for me. I just think that this is a team that clearly they're building that culture back up. They're starting to build those pieces back up. And as they get a little bit more in help in the wide receiver area and maybe a second running back to help, and I know Al Geyer is there. They just drafted him this past year, and he's been showing a little bit of bright spots here and there. But still, we need to get a real dedicated running back there to help with Patterson, and then now take some of the pressure off.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I definitely agree. So go ahead and move on to the other games. I think this is going to be an interesting matchup. We obviously have – I'm just going to throw it out there. We obviously have the Eagles winning this game. But there are a lot of storylines within this game itself that's – I think is going to keep this game a lot closer than people expect. Matt Ryan is the starter once again. He has taken the starting job back from Sam Ehlinger. This is also Nick Sirianni's, the head coach for the Eagles, first time back in Indy. He used to be a coordinator under Frank Wright, and for him to play against his mentor, I think this is going to be one of those games where, as the Colts organization and the players, I think this is a game they rally behind Frank Wright and try to win one for the Gipper type thing, right? And I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Eagles are a better team. but I think we will see probably one of the better performances from the Colts this season than we have in the last 10 weeks.
I mean, we already saw it last week when Jeff Saturday took the head coaching spot. That I think the response that they gave, the way that they played against a team that really should have beat them, that said it all, right? Like they have a new life. They are all playing with a new sense of urgency. I think that they all realize what this opportunity is. Even if Jeff Saturday isn't the coach moving forward, everybody on that roster realizes that they're playing to prove that they deserve to be on that roster, that they're playing for a spot. They're playing for the next coach. If it's not Jeff Saturday, and if it is Jeff Saturday, they want to prove to Jeff Saturday why they should still be there and be a part of this rebuild or whatever they're going to call it in Indy. Because, in Indy, they always try to they always think about it like we don't rebuild, we reload. And in the AFC South, that's kind of true to some extent, right? Because they really were in the conversation early in the season in the AFC South, and it wasn't until they had a complete fall off that they were out of the conversation and no longer in the playoff picture. So I think, from my standpoint, they all realize the task at hand. They all realize that this is a chance and an opportunity for them to earn spots, earn playing time, be a part of the team moving forward. So I think you're going to keep seeing that, right? Like that's going to be a theme that you will continue to see from the Colts. But I almost picked them. I almost picked them to win this game, and I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game because I don't think that the Eagles – I know the Eagles are going to want to revenge the loss that they just recently had last week, but at the same time, I don't think that if they lose this game, they're at all, feeling panicked or scared. It's just going to be another one of those, hey, the NFL has a lot of teams that can play, and on any given Sunday, you never know what's going to happen.
1,000% agree. Now, I will say, of course, the Eagles, and Fracture One brings this up, the Eagles D-line is too good. They did, of course, sign Ndamukong Suh. You also signed Linval Joseph, two run stuffers who have literally made their living off of stopping the run. I've been waiting since in the offseason to see where Ndamukong Suh was going to sign. I really thought he was going to either sign with the Buccaneers, or I always had Minnesota on my mind, thinking he was going to go to Minnesota. There were talks about week 4, week 5 time frame, and I thought they were going to get a deal done. As we see, in Minnesota, they're 8-1. I'm not saying that they don't need him, but it looks like they were able to move on without him. The Ndamukong Suh being who he is, I'm talking about not dirty guy. I'm not talking about a dirty guy. I'm talking about a nasty guy in the trenches. I think he fits in perfectly on that Eagles roster. Experienced guy, a Super Bowl winning guy, a guy that can help mold the culture even more. I stated this when they got Joseph and Suh. I said, it looks like the Eagles are all in this season. And they have been. They have been all in this season. But the pieces that they continue to keep on getting, they remind me of the Rams of the East. It seems as though that even though Philly is a cold place, the fans are, a little special from time to time. People want to go and play for the Eagles. People want to go and play for that organization. And a lot of people, I think a lot of players feel as though that they can be themselves and still win if I go to that organization, comparison to an organization a little bit, a couple hours away from them, and I'm talking about the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
It seems as though that the Eagles are a destination that say, hey, you come here, come to Death Row Records, we'll be able to put you on a nice little deal. That's what it seems like. I'm just saying.
I think that they have the reputation of building championship contended teams, right? Like you think,
but they have to finish though. That's the thing.
Well,
no, you're not wrong. They have done this in the past, but they just do not finish. And I'll talk.
But let me say this.
What you about to say? Yes.
Let me say this. I think, like you're pointing out, people realize, hey, I can go there. I can be myself. And part of being a great player, part of being a player that can play at the high level is to have maybe not a big ego, but a slight ego, right?
You gotta have an ego.
And what stops a player from thinking, I can be the one that helps them over the top. I can be the one that takes them to that next level just to get right where they need to be, right? And especially with the way that this team has been built this year in the moves that they have been making, that's the reason why you can go get an Ndamukong Suh, because you can tell him, dude, you could be the difference maker. Like, you could be the difference between us winning the Super Bowl and us going out in the NFC Championship game, right? And that's where I think you see players willing to go there because they realize what that opportunity is. And like you said, if I can go to an opportunity like that and I get to be myself, that is something that you can only hope for in the league like the NFL. So that's why they can build the way they do. And I look forward to them continuing to, realize what I prophesied at the top of the season, winning that Super Bowl.
I respect it. I will say this one last thing before we move on. The Eagles don't have to win this game. But they probably would like to. They should, and they probably need to, because, like we just said in the last segment with the Bills, good teams are supposed to be bad teams, especially when you're in a division where all of your teams are in the playoffs. I'm sorry, except for the Washington Commanders.
You can't drop too many of these.
Commanders are out by just a half a game.
Yeah,
and I'm just saying that you are 8-1 right now, but the season is still not over yet. That 8-1 can turn into 9-4 real quick, and you can go from number one seed, either miss the playoffs or
wild card spot.
Number six or 5 in the playoffs, to where you thought everything was going to go run through Philly, and now it's running through Minnesota or running through Dallas, right? Yep. So with this game, I'm not saying they have to, but the Eagles need to win this game.
Oh yeah, you're right.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to another divisional matchup. Shout out to Travis Crow. We know why he's saying go Colts. We know why he's saying go Colts. He want to make sure them Eagles take all L's possible.
Listen, y'all need to worry about your own house before y'all go worry about somebody else's house.
Okay? Oh, don't worry. We're gonna talk about them Cowboys.
Y'all got some cleaning up.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about them Cowboys. They have a nice little matchup coming up this Sunday. All right, let's get to this AFC East matchup, and they have played just 2 weeks ago. Where the Jets at one point in time were flying high. We thought very highly of the Jets. They were coming off of some really good performances.
Hey, I still think highly of the Jets. Come on now.
Well, let's talk about it. Hey, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Because I stated on this show a couple weeks ago when the Jets played the Patriots, it's not about us not taking y'all seriously. It's about y'all selves being able to get over your own demons. The Patriots are y'all boogeyman. They are on a 13-game losing streak. They're on a 13-game losing streak against the Patriots.
Hey, sometimes you just can't beat a certain team. Look at the Rams and the 49ers, right?
And you're not wrong. But if y'all want us, I'm talking about the Jets, if y'all want us to take you seriously, and you still can't beat a Patriots team who's not even fully, like, we don't even look at the Patriots as like a full makeup team. For whatever reason, they're in the playoffs at this moment. But we still don't even fear the Patriots right now. Nobody fears the Patriots. Come on, let's be real. Like we know, okay, they're the Patriots, Mac Jones, and obviously Bill Belichick. They're going to create a nice scheme, this, that. But if you have a better team than the Patriots this season, you're going to beat the Patriots, right? That's just my opinion. The Ravens are going to beat them. The Chiefs are going to beat them. Tennessee Titans are going to beat them. And the AFC side, if you are a better team, you should beat the Patriots. But for whatever reason, this divisional matchup, the New York Jets just cannot beat the Patriots. 2 weeks ago, they were in New York. Patriots was able to take care of business as an away team. Now they're going to be in Foxborough, and I don't think the Jets are able to pull off the 1-1 and be able to win this road game in Foxborough. Ish.
Yeah, so I mean, we're gonna have to agree to disagree, because while a lot of what you said is true, right? A lot of what you said, if you're the better team, you should beat the Patriots. If you're the better team in the AFC right now, you should beat the Patriots. Patriots have a lot of holes. They have a lot of issues. They don't even have faith in Mac Jones at this point, I don't believe. I know they're telling everybody they do, but you can see that there is a little bit of wavering, just belief in what Mac Jones can bring to that offense. Also, if you think about a lot of their victories this season, the defense has done a lot of carrying of the offense, and it used to be a little more balanced, I think, than what it's been this year. So, yeah, I agree from that standpoint, except for the fact that there are just certain teams who, when they get in certain matchups, it just doesn't work out for them, right? It's not to their advantage. It just doesn't help them. And this is one of those matchups that I just think it's just not a good matchup for the Jets. I think the Jets are still a good team. I even think the Jets are still a better team than New England, a better all-around team, overall team. But this matchup just does not work. And the main reason why I think this matchup doesn't work is, especially the past couple of years, the Jets have had young quarterbacks, and we know the record of young quarterbacks against Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick knows how to scheme a defense for a young quarterback, and it is really hard. You got to be, it's got to be your day to be a Bill Belichick defense when you're a young quarterback. So I think that is really more why I picked the Patriots and why I don't have faith in the Jets to beat the Patriots than anything else. I don't think the Patriots are like their offense is going to do anything to wow me. I just think that scheme-wise, Bill Belichick just has their number similar to how the 49ers have the numbers of the Rams. Like I said, it's the similar kind of thing where I think a lot of people will argue the Rams are a better team than the 49ers, but somehow the 49ers always find a way to beat the Rams. And it's just that matchup just does not work for them.
The boogeyman, as we like to call him. Frank one that says if your offense is crappy,
put in Zappy. I am keeping that all.
Oh, I know you are. I know you
all season long. Until they put Zappy back in there, I'm gonna keep saying it because I'm tired of seeing my man out there. Now, Mac, you already had your chance. We don't even want to see you anymore. I'm gonna start a ride in New England. Look, have the fans chanting for Zappy.
Ever since Mac Jones out here was grittying, that's when it all started falling down.
It all went downhill from
Nobody told you was out here doing these little silly dances. See, you want to be like Tom Brady, but y'all don't want to be out there being humble as Patriots quarterback. That's the one thing y'all didn't learn from Tom Brady. Tom Brady wasn't out here dancing after every touchdown score that he made. Nope, he was out here slamming the ball, giving the ball back to the refs, and went on to the sideline and did his little fist pump. So yeah, y'all New England quarterbacks, y'all just new age. Y'all don't know how to act no more. I don't know. Get on them, Thomas. Get on them. All right, let's go ahead and move on. The Rams and the Saints. Now, I'll be completely honest with you, this is a very, very disappointing two teams right here. How the mighty have fallen. I mean, I picked both of these teams. I have no problem saying I'm an idiot for the Saints pick. I thought the Saints would be a lot better this season. But the Rams, the Rams definitely have been a team that has disappointed me, probably other people out here as well too. I know people probably didn't expect them to go back to back like myself, but at least have a better performance on the football field than what you're putting out right now, especially with the pieces that you added on. Don't get me wrong, you did lose some pieces out here in the offseason, but you reloaded as well to where people maybe thought you could go on a run. And right now, the thing you're running to is maybe Cabo to get ready for the offseason and enjoy your early exit of the NFL season. And of course, the biggest news that comes out of the Rams is, of course, Cooper Kupp being out for 6 to 8 weeks, which will pretty much end his NFL season for the 2022-2023 NFL season. So with that being said, looks like Matt Stafford's going to have to throw the ball to somebody else. Who will it be? We don't know. But it probably won't be Allen Robinson. So we'll figure it out. We're going to have to figure it out just like y'all. Who in the hell Matt Stafford going to throw the ball to? So as I say all this, I'm looking back at this and I'm telling myself, maybe I should have picked the Saints. Just maybe I should have picked the Saints. But if we're looking at the Saints too, the Saints are just that bad. I mean, to be 3-7, I don't know what the Saints this season, even the Saints fans, I don't think they know what's going on with their team. It's just been a complete train wreck for both of these teams. And I think this is a game it's going to be another episode of ugliness for both of these teams.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head because the thing for me, the thing to watch in this game and what I was curious about and what was, kind of concerning me when I was trying to pick this game, who is Matt Stafford going to throw to? Cooper Kupp being out is a big wrench. I mean, other than Higbee, the tight end, they don't really have a wide receiver that I feel like he really has that relationship with. And I want to know, are we going to see the resurgence of Allen Robinson? Is he going to finally show up? Are we going to get the ball thrown to him, a significant amount of times in the game?
We don't know just yet. We will wait for Ish to come back to finish up that statement. He took a quick little brief step away. But just to piggyback on what it's just saying, we don't know. Like, I do not know where that football is going to land within the wide receiver group. I expect Higbee to get about 7 catches this game. And because the tight end is a quarterback's best friend as a security blanket. But overall, though, again, just to reiterate, and we'll go ahead and move on. These two teams have just been very disappointing this season. To have these two teams be my picks to win their respective division, to be at the bottom right now is just disrespectful. But that's why we say it all the time. They play the game on the field and not on paper, because if we played it on paper, it wouldn't be that much fun. That's just my opinion. I think that's why we live for upsets, right? That's why we live for the underdog. You just never know what will happen. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Lions and Giants. And, of course, when Ish gets back, I'll go ahead and add him back to the mix. Now, this game here is an interesting matchup, mainly because of how the Giants, to me, my opinion, how the Giants are kind of trending. I think overall the Giants are a good team, but I also feel as though that they have these hiccups from time to time where they don't really show their full arsenal of who they really are. 2 weeks ago, they lost to the Seattle Seahawks. That was their second loss of the season. Bounced back with a win against the Texans. Just the Texans. Y'all know how it is. But you play against a Detroit Lions team this week, to where this is a game you should win. Now, you're only a 3-point favorite at home, which is kind of telling. It's kind of interesting. I don't understand why they're only a 3-point favorite, especially with a Lions team that's defensive ranks wise is horrible. So from what I'm looking into, is it seems though Vegas is actually a little more impressed with the Lions than the rest of the NFL, viewership wise is. And I have to agree with Vegas, because I think this is going to be a dogfight type of game. I don't think this is a game that the Giants come in and just march all over the Lions and move on. I think the Lions are going to put up a nice effort and a nice performance against the Giants and pull off the upset. Yes, I am calling for the upset today, I should say, against the G-Men. I think the Lions are able to pull it off. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know how it's going to happen. But I do know that the Lions will find a way to pull off the upset against the Giants. Thank you for joining us back once again, Ish.
Well, Matt Stafford, apparently he don't like what I'm talking about, because I guess he's trying to take my internet
pull
down.
The plug, huh? Pull the plug off you.
He's pulling the plug on me. That's fine.
If you want to, you can finish up with that Rams talk, and then we can.
No. I mean, my thing is just seeing if Allen Robinson shows up, because I think that's the key. And the only reason why I'm not picking the Saints is because the Saints are god awful. If Jameis come back, then I got him. But until Jameis come back, yeah, the Red Rocket, you just.
I know you didn't see this, but of course Travis says, "Let's go Lions." Of course, you know why on that one. Fractional One also says this could be and will be a setup game for the Giants.
Oh, 100%. Danny Dimes, my boy Danny Dimes, you just got to go out, continue doing what you're doing, perform, keep your team in the hunt. The Lions, I never know what to expect from the Lions. I think that the Lions, they can put the points up there, and their defense every once in a while comes out and they show out and they win these games. And people are like, man, why don't we see more of these Lions? But that's exactly what the Lions do. That's exactly why no one wants to pick them.
They tease you.
Because you never know. You never know what Lions team you're gonna get. And as a result, I'm gonna keep going I'm gonna have to go with the Giants. And I do think the difference this year in the Giants than years past with Danny Dimes at the helm, they aren't asking him to do more than he needs to do. They are allowing him to play within the system. They're allowing him to kind of, just methodically move down the field. And they play good defense. They are playing, great defense this year. They're really doing a great job at, standing up at the right times to help this offense out. And I think that they'll find a way to kind of do that and bail the offense out if they have a little bit of trouble, and they'll win this game, as they should, because it is the Lions.
Keyword as they should. But it'll be again. This will be I think this is an interesting matchup. Keep your eyes on that game. I know the Giants are a good team. I said that already. The Giants are a good team. There's the losses that they have are against two good teams. But
admit that comeback player of the year too.
But second half of the season, can you finish the second half of the season? That's what we're going to see from the Giants. Are they going to be a good team or a great team going into the playoffs? That's what we're really going to see. So let's go ahead and move on to the Panthers and the Ravens. There ain't too much to really talk about in this game. I'm just being completely honest. Ravens are a little over 2 touchdown favorites in this game and should take care of business at the bank again. Should. But we know how the NFL is from time to time. And again, we'll see what happens on this game. The Panthers are, let's just be real, they don't know what the hell they're doing over there this season. It's just a lot going on right now. And you know, I will say they've looked better under Steve Wilkes ever since the coaching change. I will say that. But overall, this is let's just finish up this season so we can get on the next season and try to figure out what product we need to put on the field, because this ain't it.
Question: do you think he gets an opportunity since they look better under him?
Answer: no.
Yep. I mean, I know the answer already, but I want to bring it up because, as you said, they've looked better under him. They have. I think that they're a bad team, so you can't fault him for the result. Same thing I would, to a smaller extent, I would say about Lovie Smith. I think some of the problems the Texans have is related to Lovie Smith, but ultimately they're a bad team. So we pretty much know everyone knew where they were going to be.
Yeah, I mean,
except Texans it was fans who thought they were going to.
And we'll talk about the Texans in our next segment, but the Panthers, I don't think nobody expected them to win the division or even make the playoffs again unless you're a Panthers fan. But there was a lot of hype, right? There was a lot of hype in the offseason when Baker coming over and maybe winning the starting job. Okay, he won the starting job and he lost it after like week 1. I mean, it was the Panthers are what Baker Mayfield has been in the NFL so far his career. All of this hype, all of this, what he could be, what he this, he's that, and it just has not panned out. Hell of a college quarterback, you know. Hey, great job, Heisman Trophy winner. You know, you that dude in college, but the NFL is a different game, and it just seems like he's not been able to translate his game over. You know, maybe he needs some humble pie. I don't know. At this point, Baker is a career backup. At this point, it's up to him and his ego on, does he stay a career backup for 10 years and make, $60 million to be a career backup? Or do you say, forget all this, I'm going to go play XFL, right? Or Canadian or whatever.
I don't think he would do that.
I don't think so either. Because he's a name, he's a brand, he's won the Heisman. I got all that. But I'm just saying, though, you will burn too many bridges trying to be a starting quarterback to end up in a position where you're just another guy. So we'll see what happens with him moving forward, what Baker turns out to be. Fracture One says, hey, now I told y'all in the offseason that it's about losing this year. I'm still mad.
Yeah, they tied with the Colts at the beginning of the season. Tank, though, for the Texans. They should.
Y'all not tanking on purpose. Y'all not tanking on accident. Y'all not tanking, okay? Y'all just that bad. Okay,
they're just that bad.
Yeah, just that bad.
I also think this isn't the year that you're kind of happy about being the number 1 pick, because of all years, like we get them every once in a while. There's no real clear.
There's no definitive number 1 pick.
Number 1. So
the quarterback,
position.
Kind of year. I mean, there's 3 or 4 guys that can go number 1 at that quarterback position.
And you don't know how any of them are going to do in the NFL. To be
at
honest.
All. This season. I'm sorry, for next season when it comes to the draft. This is the first time I've seen in a very long time where the number 1 pick is in the air. You don't know what quarterback is better than who, what, and whatnot. I mean, there could be a defensive guy, Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama. That could be number 1.
But because of the needs, because of the Texans' needs, I don't think he goes number 1. I think if it's a different team who had a quarterback already, he's clear-cut number 1, right?
But that's what I'm saying. That's what makes this draft so interesting, because even though the Texans might not need him, you might want to get back to working on starting on the defensive side first, and then the offensive and defensive line, and then we'll figure out that quarterback position later on, because it is not a guarantee just because you get a number one quarterback in the first round doesn't mean that they're going to be successful, though. We've seen plenty of quarterbacks that are successful third round, fourth round, fifth.
But you have to have the scouting team to identify that guy, and the Texans don't have that clearly, because they thought Davis Mills was that guy, and we all see how that turned out. After they were all, he's not getting the respect he deserves. Look at how well he played in the second half.
First of all, when you have two first names, you don't get that much respect. Okay, tell your mama to make you a real last name, and then we'll go ahead and move on from there. Fracture says Texas need to build the rest of the team before looking at QB, and that's in my opinion. And again, so it's everybody's kind of on the same page. It comes down to the organization themselves. That's what it comes down to. But we'll digress. Before we get into the Commanders and Texans, let's go ahead and get into. Don't be upset. One of our, of course, favorite topics to talk about. And Ish, I'll let you go first on this one. I already know your don't be upset pick, unless it's a different one, but you have.
Yeah, I got the Bears over the Falcons as my don't be upset. I think Justin Fields has been on a tear since they had that bye and they were able to change the offense and play to his strengths. And I think the more time Chase Claypool is able to be there, I don't think he lights the world afire, but I think that he is able to be solid. I think he's a good solid option, and he's better than options they've had in the past. And the more they can get into Justin Fields' strengths, the more they can get Claypool incorporated into the offense, the better that offense will function, the better our offense will operate. And I think that's what I'm looking for, a continued progression of that offense moving forward. They've always had a defense that's able to play a little bit stingy, stand up at certain times and help the offense out a little bit. And I think some of the point problems the defense has had has been because the offense, there's a lot of 3 and outs on this Chicago Bears offense. But as we've seen in the past couple of weeks, they're starting to kind of figure it out. They're finding their identity. And I'm hoping that continues against this Falcons team that is also in the works of finding their identity.
Everything you said, I pretty much stated when I talked about the Bears when it comes to, look, they've always had a defense. It's just the offense that needs to come along. Maybe Justin Fields is the guy. And if he is the guy, then help the motherfucker out. Give him some goddamn help. Offensive line receiver, help him. Damn. So with that being said, I don't say this too much about Ohio State quarterbacks either. I can't stand them. I don't like them. But facts are facts. Justin Fields is a pretty damn good quarterback, and let's help him be as great as he can be. Okay, come on, Chicago. All right, my picks. I actually have 2. I have the Lions over the Giants. Of course, I talked about that earlier, and I also have yes, as y'all see, I do have the Texans over the Commanders, and Ish can shake his head all he wants to.
I saw this and I was just like, here we go.
He can shake his head all he wants to. It is a beautiful look. Think about it. It's a recipe for success. You're playing at home. The Commanders are coming off of a hard-fought loss.
Win.
Hard-fought win over the undefeated Eagles, right? And you're going to have a letdown game because you're not a team that is capable of stringing along good wins and this, that, and the third. The Texans are a bad team, but that defense, the Texans defense, is the only reason why they're in certain games. So what I'm saying is I think they will find a way to keep it close throughout the whole game. And you know we watch these sorry Texans on Channel 11 every Sunday. They're gonna be on TV.
I'm not watching.
And we're gonna see them keep it close throughout most of the game, and they will find a way to upset the Washington Commanders today.
I mean, I guess
you heard it here. You heard it here. XtalknIsh.
I guess you just segued straight into the Texans Commanders game, and
I did, and I'm about to.
Everything you said, yeah, cool. Mm-hmm. They came off a big win, and there's the letdown week. My only thing is against the Texans, a letdown week against the Texans. I don't know, man.
It's the NFL, baby.
I know it's the NFL, and I know that the Texans have talent, and they're not bums.
Look,
and they
when I'm right, you can take me. I'm the genie. You can take me to Vegas with y'all, and I'll win y'all some money.
I mean, I can't imagine if you're the Commanders and you're a team that has any level of pride, expectations. I just don't think that you can do that. Like, I don't think even coming off a big win against the Eagles, I don't think you can just come back and just let the Texans do that.
Again, when I'm right, you can owe me a case of Dos Equis. Greg can owe me a case of Dos Equis. Everybody that listens, you can owe me a case of Dos Equis, and I'll be right here sipping on my Dos Equis, watching these Texans beat up on the Commanders.
We'll see.
All right. Greg says Texans over the Commanders is madness, and that's coming from a Texan.
Yeah.
Well, you obviously don't believe, Greg. Okay, you don't believe. All right. Let's go ahead and move on, and of course, talk about Mr. Imperial King's Barbershop. Go ahead and ask for Jason Williams if you want to go ahead and get that nice fade. Go ahead and check out Imperial King's Barbershop on 9218 FM 529. Go ahead and give them a call at 346-355-8255 if you need you a nice fade for the week. Go ahead and check them out and make sure you let them know that XtalknIsh sent you. And as well, to finish up with our, of course, our topics, we will do, of course, if I was a betting man, and I expect nothing but L's this week because usually that's what I take. But we're going to get us a dub this week. We're going to get us a dub on this parlay. Y'all know what to do. If you guys are on Prize Picks, y'all more welcome to use our promo code PR-JVA61PN. And at the moment, I have Saquon Barkley under 98.5 rushing yards. Again, watch out for that Lions defense. They're going to find a way to stop the run. They got to stop the run if they want to win that game. So you got to stop the run out.
That just means Danny Dimes going over 100.
Exactly. So somebody got to go over 100. It ain't going to be Saquon. I have Stephon Diggs under 87.5 receiving yards. Again, playing against the Browns. The Browns know if we want to win this game, we got to stop Stephon. We can let Gabe Davis go off. We can let Singletary go off, but we can't let Stephon Diggs go off. So I think he's under 87.5. You have Joey Sly, kicker for the Washington Commanders, over 1.5 field goals made.
That must be. So you think they're going to kick a lot of field goals? That's why the Texans going to win.
I think it's going to be a game where points are going to be hard to come by. The Washington Commanders will kick some field goals, and Joey Sly is coming off of a huge game against the Eagles, and wouldn't surprise me at all if he kicks not 2, but maybe even 3 field goals made. So I got him. And my surprise crazy pick is Mr. Matt Ryan over 23 pass completions. Now, I know it sounds crazy, right? But if you go look at the numbers, anytime Matt Ryan is starting, he's completing at least 25 completions, no less than, I think, 17 for one game. So that is a logical type of pick, especially with them playing against the Eagles. Wouldn't surprise me at all if they're going to have to air it out a little more. So, again, those are my prize picks for this week. I'm hoping I can win me a little sham, but we'll see. All right, like you said, we're going to go ahead and segue right into the Commanders and Texans. I'll let you take it since I've spoke nothing but highly good things about the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I don't see this going to the Texans. I just don't know. I don't know how. I don't really trust in Davis Mills.
Hold up. I have a question. Hold up. You say you don't see the Commanders and the Texans winning. I mean, the Texans win this game, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, how about this? That's for your ass right there for you, sir. Anything else you have to say about this?
No, I'm done. Go move to the next thing. Go ahead to the next game. I'm done with you.
I love y'all too. Frank one that says both Texans in. See why you gotta be. Then you throwing out slurs, sir. You throwing out slurs. You're gonna get us canceled. We can't say that word no more.
You gonna get canceled.
You can't say that word, sir. The Commanders will have new head coaches next year, so this game doesn't matter. Canceled. You better try to get us canceled out here, Fracture. Man, come on, man. It's the Guardians and it's Commanders now. Okay, y'all know what happens when the liberal media wants to make changes. Okay, they're gonna make changes. Damn it. Okay. I ain't say this. I didn't do this. Not me. I'm not in charge of nothing. Okay. I'm just letting y'all know how it is. All right, let's go ahead and move on to AFC West matchup. Now, what's disappointing about not just this game, but this whole damn conference, except for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm sorry, the division. I'm sorry. This division was supposed to be the greatest division to ever touch a football field, right?
Ever.
The hype about this division was real. It was real. I fell for it. I thought this was going to be the greatest thing since sliced toast, right?
Since sliced bread.
And then, unfortunately, we have the NFC East and the AFC East as the best divisions, right? What is going on right now, right? So these two teams, and I'm looking back at this pick as well for myself, Ish, and I'm saying, why in the hell am I picking the Raiders again? I know the
Okay, I
Raiders are
was
going to
wondering
let
the
me
same
down.
thing, but go
I'm
ahead.
an idiot. I'm telling you right now, I'm an idiot. I am. I have no problem saying that. I'm an idiot. The Broncos probably going to win this game, and they probably should win this game. Because when you have Derek Carr up there on the podium crying his eyes out, and it's not even, it's week 11. It's week 11. It's not week 16, 17, 8. It's week 11. You already got Derek Carr out here crying. The season over, sir. The season over. Let's go ahead and move on. And Josh McDaniels needs to go ahead and move on, go back to being a coordinator. Derek Carr, I don't know what the Raiders do moving forward with this group that they have, because you just paid a lot of money Devontae Adams to be here for multi-years. You just gave Derek Carr another multi-year deal too. But some of these mock drafts, you have the Raiders have they have the Raiders picking a quarterback in the first round. So I don't know what's going on in Las Vegas. It is a lot. And word on the street too. Apparently they're going to have to keep Josh McDaniels because they don't have enough money to pay a new coach. Oh my goodness!
Luckily for you, I know what's going on in Las Vegas.
This is just I'm lost for words, Ish. I really am.
Well, I'm just gonna tell you, I know what's going on in Las Vegas. An old clip resurfaced. I forgot who it was talking about, Josh McDaniels in the fall of Josh McDaniels.
Oh.
When he was over in Denver, they started out hot. Everybody was like, "Oh, Belichick, he produced
got him a disciple.
A good disciple. He got him a guy, and then they got caught cheating, and they had to stop cheating. And ever since they stopped cheating, then they lost, and the man got fired. And I'm just gonna call it like it is. Josh McDaniels was only good because he was cheating. He's ever since he had to stop cheating as a head coach, he's never been a good head coach. He's actually been one of the worst head coaches in the NFL history. Josh McDaniels is not a head coach. He's a damn good coordinator. He's not a head coach, okay? That's what's going on in Las Vegas. And they're going to continue to suffer. Are they going to win games here and there? Yeah, they'll win some games here and there because, like we said, it's the NFL. Any given Sunday. But ultimately, he will have a losing record because he is not a head coach. So go ahead and move to the next thing. I don't know why you picked these boys, but hey, they might pull this one out. It's a division game. I'm going on a limb this Sunday. Always play well.
Exactly. I'm going on a limb this game for the Texans, the Raiders, all these teams that I usually don't pick. They're going to win today. They probably won't, but I'm trying to hype myself up.
They'll find a way.
They can win these games. All right, Fraction One brings up a really good question. He said, "What's more disappointing, Raiders season or Wilson's season performance?"
No, I think it's the Raiders because all the hype with Devontae Adams and everything, and they made the playoffs last year. I think with the Broncos, there were some concerns about the team. I don't think anybody felt like they were a finished product early in the season. People thought Wilson would make them better, but I don't think anybody was really championing the Broncos. But with the Raiders, I think with the addition of Devontae Adams, the expectations were y'all made the playoffs last year. Oh, y'all really going to compete this year. And to be where they are right now with, like you said, Derek Carr crying at the podium and everything, yeah.
Devontae Adams added in the offseason, literally probably one or two best receivers in the league, right? You're supposed to, that offense is supposed to be better, not worse. Darren Waller hasn't been who he was this season. I mean, just over the offense just has not looked good. And again, for all of the things that coming into the season, you're supposed to have gotten a better offensive weapon. You're supposed to have gotten a offensive-minded head coach, right?
And re-signed your best players.
It just doesn't make any sense. For whatever reason, it seems like the Raiders play better when they have all the turmoil go on either off the field or even on the field. But when you have something, I guess a steady ship rider like Josh McDaniels that steadies the ship to make sure we have a good season, that's when they have a bad season. Maybe the Raiders play better. Maybe they are the epitome of a toxic relationship, right? Maybe they are better when they are in a toxic relationship. But I will say, well, Wilson, I like Russell Wilson. That's my guy. But I think only certain people assume that he could take them to a Super Bowl in 1 year. I always looked at the Broncos as a 2 or 3 year project. I never looked at Russell coming in and like, okay, they're going to Super Bowl because they had it. Jared Jeudy has been so disappointing as a wide receiver. Sutton is not there. The running back group is again. It's just it falls on everybody. It falls on the players, the coaches, the Walmart group. They don't know what the hell they're doing. I said what the hell I'm saying. Yeah, the Walmart group, they're gonna come in and do the exact same shit that they do at their stores, which is not a goddamn thing. That's why the Broncos are where they at. Yeah. I said what I said. I know that's your Arkansas folks.
If you go to Walmart around Bentonville and Rogers, you'll know what Walmart is doing. Okay, they just don't do it around where you from.
Okay, that sounds like some Arkansas bullshit. Where Walmarts are the best in Arkansas, where nobody wants to live, but they won't put them in damn cities like Houston. Okay, whatever. That makes a lot of sense. Fraction One says Raiders play good when they have interim head coaches. That too. You ain't lying on that one. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this puppy up for today. Cowboys, Vikings, hell of a matchup. I am a Captain Kirk guy.
It's the moment you've been waiting for.
That's my guy. Captain America gonna show y'all today what it's about. But when it comes to teams that are very desperate, and when it comes to teams that need a win, it's the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a good overall team, both sides of the ball. Now, there are some games that they have let, slip away that they shouldn't have, let go. But for the most part, the Cowboys overall are a champion contending team. The question is will they let themselves stop them from being a championship contending team? That's really what it comes down to. In the regular season, I have the Cowboys winning this game. I see them coming into Minnesota and making this into a statement type of game. But we can run this back NFC Conference Championship game. Vikings are at home. The Cowboys will play in Minnesota because the Vikings will probably have a better record, even though the Cowboys have a tie break. I can see them playing for the NFC Conference Championship game for the chances to go to the Super Bowl. And the Vikings will win that game because that is what the Cowboys do. That's what the Cowboys have done in the last 20-plus years so far. And that's just who they are. Until they show us that that is not them still, I am going to have to live off of their regular season glory and their postseason non-success. Ish.
No, I think the Vikings are a really good team. I think the Vikings have earned where they are right now and the spot that they have. And my pick this week is nothing against the Vikings or Captain America, as you like to say. I have a vendetta against him. Yes, something. You do. But I respect the Cowboys. As much as we come on here and we jokingly mess with the Cowboys and talk down on the Cowboys from time to time, I respect the Cowboys. I think they're a good team. I think that they have a good makeup. And they know how to win certain games. When it's time to win those games, they know how to win them normally in the regular season, not so much in the postseason. And I feel like this game is going to go a lot like when Minnesota played another contending NFC East team earlier in the season. I just think that these NFC East teams, they're built a little different, okay? They know how to play defense. They play good, hard, tough defense, and they have offensive players. And the Cowboys have an offense. I think that the Cowboys defense plays Minnesota tough. They kind of hang around with them. And Dak Prescott, who is no bum, I don't think he's the star that they want to make him out to be, but he's not a bum. Dak Prescott's going to find a way to win this game. I think they keep it close. He finds a way to win this game, and there you go. Cowboys are back in the win column. But I also think another thing, it's important they win this game because they've already dropped this. They dropped last week when they should have won against the Packers. You can't, even though it's a contender, and even though I wouldn't hold it against you to lose this game, it'll hurt you big time in this close NFC race. This is not a race where you can drop some of these games or drop two in a row. You got to find a way to win this game because if the Giants win like I'm projecting them to win, and if the Eagles win like I'm projecting them to win, the pressure really is on Dallas at that point. Like now you really sitting there at Dallas in third, and the pressure's really going to be on you. And I don't think you want that going into the latter half of the season because it's a lot of divisional games.
Divisional matchups. Yep. And I will say as well too, the only loss that the Minnesota Vikings have is to another NFC East team, and that'll be the Philadelphia Eagles. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Fractional Note says Cowboys lose this game, and the window will start to close on making the playoffs. Travis Crow says facts about what I was talking about earlier, and then also Fractional Note says Green Bay could sneak up on the Cowboys, but the Cowboys lost this week. Thanksgiving matchup will determine the last NFC playoff spot, in my opinion. And of course, our boy Deron Bree says that's a lot of pressure building going into the playoffs. Oh, look, hey, pressure build it busts pipes or it makes diamonds. So it's one or the other. We're gonna find out real quick. Another divisional matchup. Let's go ahead and move on to the Bengals and Steelers. Now, if we all remember back in week 1, the Steelers, let's be real, Steelers stole this game. Steelers stole this game from the Bengals. They probably should not have beaten the Bengals, but they did. And these two teams have pretty much separated themselves since week 1. The Steelers have just not been good. It just is what it is. The Bengals are trying to get back into the mix of things, trying to get everything back to what it once was last season. They are 5-4 at the moment. It's not impossible, not even just the playoffs. I'm saying it's not impossible for them to make a run. We saw them do it last year, right? But if they want to do that, it starts right now. You have to win this game to go 6-4 instead of being 5-5. 6-4 is a lot different than 5-5. So you have to win this game. I think you and I, Ish, are in agreement when it comes to the Steelers. We'll see how next year. The season's over with,
Yeah, I think for the Steelers, I don't expect them to win this game. Although they did win last week, and I was kind of surprised by that. I expect them to be in a lot of these games in the second half of the season, keep them close, but I expect them to lose against a better team in the Cincinnati Bengals. I am interested, though, in whether or not Pittsburgh finishes with a winning record.
Yeah,
that's the thing to keep in mind now. That's the thing.
I mean, unless we're going 7 in a row, something like that, I mean, it ain't going to happen.
I want to see it.
We'll see what happens. Frank Warner says winning this game will keep the ship afloat until Chase comes back. I definitely agree on that one, boss man. You are not wrong. Let's go ahead and move into the Sunday night football game. And of course, we have our favorite teams, the Chiefs. You know, the Chiefs are always on prime time because everybody got to go see Patty Mahomes. Guys, go see my homeboy. I understand, of course, the young Tom Brady, Mr. Justin Herbert. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to compare him to Tom Brady. We're just going to compare him to be the next guy that the NFL wants him to be, but he's just not that guy just yet.
Yeah,
I'll be the first to say right now. Justin Herbert is not that guy just yet. He has not been that guy this season. The Chargers have not been this team this season. The coaching staff will probably be fired. The Chargers are going to have a whole revamp this upcoming season because this is just not it. It has been disappointing. Not gonna be wrong. The Chargers are 5-4. I know it sounds bad. You know, you probably should be a little better, but they're still in the mix. Still in the mix. Still in the mix. They can still make the playoffs, even with like a guy like Keenan Allen being hurt most of the season and just having injuries on both sides of the ball. They can still find a way to make the playoffs. But even if they do ish, I still think Brandon Staley he gets the axe. I don't think he's able to stay as the head coach for next season.
No, I think if they make the playoffs, he'll stay. Excuse me.
Why?
Yeah, he's gonna stay if they make the playoffs. But this game, I think this game is gonna be one of those usual Kansas City LA games, and I would not be surprised if LA win this game because yet again, it is another example of the AFC West and all the teams in the AFC West having their Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think for some reason, well, not even for some reason, we all know the reason. The Kansas City Chiefs are that team in the AFC West. They are that team that you judge yourself against. As we've seen the moves in the offseason, they are the team that you build your team in the AFC West to beat. You build your team to beat the Chiefs before you worry about winning the conference or the Super Bowl or any of the other thing. Because if you can beat the Chiefs, that gives you a good chance to go on and do those other things. So I think every time they play against the Kansas City Chiefs, you know, these teams, they kind of game plan and they're ready for the Chiefs. They know how to play them. I expect this to be a really close game, but I expect the Chiefs after what happened last season, we know that the Chargers, they were able to beat the Chiefs. They were able to show, some things against the Chiefs last season, and that's what made a lot of people, including myself, pick the Chargers to win this division this year, because I thought the Chargers are right there. They
Yep.
got the pieces in place.
Yep.
They know they have the formula. And then it's just been disappointing. They've had a lot of injuries, a lot of things that hurt them. And I think that's ultimately what holds them back in this game today. I think the injuries and just trying to get healthy, trying to figure it out with all those things going on and the distractions is what hurts them against the Chiefs in this game tonight. And that's why the Chiefs win. But if they were healthy, I would probably have picked the Chargers to win this game.
And if was a fifth, we would all be drunk,
yeah.
Sir. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
you.
You're not. I mean, I'm just saying you're not wrong. It's just the Chargers have been just very disappointing this season.
Yeah,
I'm sad, honestly, because I looked at them being the team that's the next upcoming team, and it just wasn't. It's just not them.
It hasn't come to pass.
So I mean, it just is what it is. As you can see, the teams that are on the bye this week: Jacksonville, Miami, Seattle, and of course Tampa. Most of those Florida, all three of the Florida teams, as you can see, and one West Coast team are on a bye. But excuse me. As always, we appreciate y'all for tuning in to XtalknIsh. We will be back on Tuesday to recap Week 11, and we will also, I don't know about Ish, I'll speak for myself, but we'll also have a short little Thursday Thanksgiving special before the games kick off on Thursday, just to talk about the three games for about 30 minutes, nothing too long. And we'll do that again. If Ish can't join me because of whatever he has going on, y'all will have me solo dolo
this year, so
yes, I did.
Yeah, I'm hosting this year,
about that. Okay. So again, worst case scenario, if it's not Ish, we might have my boy KC join us. Who knows? We might bring a guy like John Alcorn, something like that. We'll find.
I'm still waiting for my cousin to make an appearance this year. We don't know where he's been. We've been looking for him.
I know who you're talking about. If nobody knows what Ish is talking about, he's talking about his cousin Dooley. Abdul. That man. He now, not to put his business out there, but he's been a little booed up lately.
I know what he's
out here
doing,
looking like LMA and whatnot. Boot up.
He fell off the face of the earth, and we're waiting to hear from that man, because we need to hear from a Washington / Las Vegas fan.
Ooh, he an everything fan. You know how
I know.
But I will say this, and the men that's on here listening to this will know that when you find you a good woman, you can fall off the map like that because you got a good woman, taking care of that good stuff. So we're gonna let our boy make it for this time being, but we need to get him back on the show. And after this show, I'm gonna hit him up. I'm gonna see where he's at. He might join us for Tuesday, might even join us for Thursday. We'll see. But we gotta get that man back on the show. So with that being said, like I said, once again, thank y'all for tuning in. We will see y'all on Tuesday night to recap Week 11. And if y'all need us, y'all know where to find us. See y'all next time.
Peace.